Now here's one that's going to shock a lot of you guys that have never been to the Philippines and have never had a girlfriend in the Philippines. My question for you is, are you actually ready to be dating a Filipina? So in this video, we're going to be looking at, before dating a Filipina, be ready for these things. So before you date your Filipina, you want to be aware and across all the things all the positives and negatives that come with dating a Filipina. So here we are, we're going to go through them here today. So you will be prepared before you even find your Filipina, what to expect. So let's start off with Tampo. Yep, Tampo, T-A-M-P-O. You can search that on YouTube, you'll find plenty of videos on it. Or you can simply check out this video here, which is the latest one I've done on Tampo, and it'll explain what it is. But in essence, it's when Filipinas will sulk sometimes. They will go to their room, they will be very quiet, they will ignore you, and this could go on anywhere for a couple of hours to maybe even days. So it is something to be aware of and to actually talk about with the Filipina when you first start a relationship, to make it clear that we don't accept that in our relationship. So that needs to be something that's a bit of give and take on both sides, because as I say in that video, it is more of a cultural behaviour. It's something they've learnt to do in a Filipino-Filipina relationship, but they've got to understand that with a Western man that it's not as acceptable. So you need to set the ground rules around that one. But don't forget to check out that video if you don't know anything about Tampo. It does explain it quite well. The next thing is money for the family. Now the Filipina, especially when they leave the Philippines, if they come to live in your country, they feel a sense of obligation to their family that they've left behind. And in particular with their parents, they feel that, especially if the parents are elderly, they feel they need to look after them, and maybe even some siblings, cousins who might be doing education, they might want to try and help around that. They don't want to feel like that they're in another country now and they're doing very well, they've got plenty of food to eat, and their family is at home and struggling. They don't want to feel that way. So a Filipina will often come to your country and she will want to find work as soon as possible, and the reason for that is so she can be sending money home to her family. Now, how much money that is will totally depend on you and your Filipina girlfriend, partner, whatever, wife, to decide together what you can afford to do. Of course, you don't want to be sending more than you can afford, but it is important for her to be sending something home. Then if she's working hard to do that, then it shouldn't be a problem. But again, communication and work it out together to get a common solution around how much you're going to send. I've done plenty of videos on that as well, so you might want to check out this video here, and that'll explain a little bit more about sending money home to the Philippines. By the way, guys, I've also got a Philippines relationship playlist which you can access through the main page of my YouTube channel. Just look out for under playlists and find Philippines relationships. I've got over 50, I think I've got nearly 60 there now, so check them out, they're worthwhile. The next thing is, Filipinas by nature, generally speaking, are very sensitive women. You can say something that you don't think would hurt their feelings, and yet their feelings will get very hurt. Now that's where this Tampo I spoke about a minute ago could come into play. You could hurt her feelings, you don't even know, and then you wonder why she's doing the whole Tampo thing with you. So you've got to be a little bit more careful with Filipinas than a Western woman in a lot of ways around sensitivity and being sensitive to them as well, and a bit more understanding as well. The next one, guys, is the smell of fish. Get used to that smell, because it's going to be around whether you're there in the Philippines with her and a family, or whether she comes to live with you eventually and she's going to be cooking that fish. It's quite a distinct smell, and maybe just open the windows, that's all I'm going to say. Another thing that you might not be prepared for is when you first meet your girlfriend, you go to a family's place, they're going to put on a big feed for you, which is, nice, very nice. But then all of a sudden, especially if it's in some of the province areas, they'll all start using their hands to eat. So they'll be picking up their rice with their hands and eating that way, and you might be sort of sitting there like, oh, what do we do here? So my advice is dig in with your hands and join in the fun with them. It's just their way of doing things in the Philippines. They, a lot of them can't afford the cutlery, and it's a tradition for a lot of them. That's just how they've eaten for years. So don't be put off by it. Be prepared for it, and yeah, join in with the family. Be one of the locals for a day or two. Now here's one that's going to shock a lot of you guys that've never been to the Philippines and have never had a girlfriend in the Philippines. You go to their house, and in a lot of cases it is in the province areas, and you go to the toilet and you think, where's the toilet paper? You look around and all you see is a bucket and a scoop. Well, guess what, guys? That's what you're going to be using. So, way around that, of course, is to take your own toilet paper everywhere you go in the Philippines, and you won't have that problem. But don't flush it down the toilet, because their toilets don't cope with that sort of thing. So there'll be a little bucket there you can put the toilet paper in with, and they'll get rid of it later on. So take that toilet paper with you, unless you want to be using your hand to wipe your butt. So at the start, you might have to get used to being referred to as sir by the family. Some members of the family. I know some were referring to me as Sir Peter, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not knighted or anything. So, but that's just their way of showing respect to you. So don't be put off by it. Just know it's them, and in time they'll just call you. I've found anyway, they'll just call you by your first name as time goes by. But in the initial stages, they look at you with a lot of respect, and that's how they show it. So don't be put off by that, guys. And they will look at you as being rich. You're the rich Western person that's come into their lives. They will look at you and think, oh, and by comparison, you are rich. Even if you're not rich in your country, compared to what they have, you're rich. You have a look around their very humble homes, and then you have a look at your home. You might even be just renting, but it's a vast difference. So of course they're going to look at you and sit and think that you're rich, because by their standards you are, and that's what they see. So don't be put off by that, and understand that, but you also make it very clear to them that in your country your money doesn't go very far. It's only when you come to the Philippines that it goes a bit further. Now you're going to find that your Filipina is going to really want to look after you very, very well. And it's, for some people it can be a little bit off-putting, and other people it's really nice. I think it's really nice that they want to look after their man very, very well and take good care of him. That they will be always open to giving you a massage on the shoulders or on your feet and that sort of thing, because they're wanting to look after you. It's them showing you that they care about you, and they love to do that. They're also great housekeepers. You'll find that when you move in with a Filipina, that she really looks after the house very well. Even if she's got a job, and she'll still make sure that house is looked after. Great cooks. They'll always be cooking in the kitchen, cooking up their own traditional foods, which I suggest you try those traditional foods of theirs within reason. I don't go for the balut or anything like that, but some great dishes around the adobos and sinigang, and some of the great desserts that they have, the leche flans, the buko salad, which you can check out that here. I've had over 20,000 or 24,000 views on that now. They're really good cooks, and they love to do that, get in that kitchen and do some cooking a lot of the time. So, and I don't mind that either, I've got to say. Their loyalty is second to none from anywhere in the world that I've found. Their loyalty is 100%. Once they commit to you, you've got the right Filipina, she commits to you. Don't ever have to question her loyalty. She is 100% for you and you only, and she's looking to make you and your family into something very strong. So that's a great quality of a Filipina, and something that I think most of us are really looking for, and that's why many of us, I guess, have searched for Filipinas. And finally on my list, I've got they're very hard working. My experience is with my wife anyway, that since she's come to, well, before she came to Australia, she was exceptionally hard working in the Philippines. She was doing security over there, doing 12-hour days, 7-day a week on rosters. Every couple of weeks she'd have to do even a 24-hour day straight, and for very little pay really. I think back when she was over there, she's getting around about 300 Australian dollars per month. which I think was about 12,000 pesos back then per month. So not a lot of money, but she's come to Australia and she still works just as hard, but she gets a better pay for it, and that gives her even more incentive. But she doesn't miss a day. They call her for a shift, she's there. So she's very, very hard working, and I believe many Filipinas that I know around the area I live in are also very hard working, and I think it's just in their nature, it's their work ethic, coming from a country where if you don't have work, then you don't get paid. Government doesn't pay you anything. You need to have a great work ethic in the Philippines, and that transfers into when they come to your country as well. So before dating a Filipina, be aware of those things. There's some what you might call, well, what some people might call negatives to that, but I call them all positives really, because even with the tampo and that, you can work that out. You can, and they can change their behaviour on the tampo. I've seen it happen, so it does happen. But they're all things to be aware of, and before you enter a relationship, and then nothing will come as a surprise to you. Guys, if you've got anything else you'd like to add, then put it down below in the comments. Don't forget, of course, to share the video around with all your networks. Hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe as well, and turn on the notification bell to get more videos. Thanks very much for all your support, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Take care, and bye for now.